Tyreek Hill is stronger than ever. A return to the Chiefs could be epic. Tyreek Hill is an absolute beast on the field, and what's even more impressive is how much he's improved over time. His strength, speed, and overall performance are better than ever. Throughout this period away from the Chiefs, Hill has clearly been putting in the work, sharpening his skills, and taking his game to the next level. A return to Kansas City wouldn't just be exciting, it would be a game changer. Hill's presence would instantly elevate the offense and bring back that explosive energy fans know and love. His ability to turn a short catch into a 70-yard touchdown is something few players in NFL history can replicate. If he rejoins the Chiefs, the timing couldn't be more perfect. With Mahomes still at the top of his game and Travis Kelsey continuing to dominate, Hill's return would complete the ultimate trio, one that defenses would have no answer for. Chiefs Kingdom, can you imagine Tyreek Hill back in red and gold, faster, stronger, and more dangerous than ever? Let's make it happen. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should Hill come back to KC? Arrowhead Stadium is more than just a home field. It's a fortress that leaves opponents shaking in their boots. But with the NFL constantly evolving, what does the future hold for stadiums? Could the Chiefs lose their secret weapon? Let's break it down. The Kansas City Chiefs, let me tell you, have something not every team possesses, a true, legitimate home field advantage. It's no secret. It's not even up for debate. The Chiefs play in one of the toughest environments in all of football, the kind of place that gets into the heads of opposing teams and forces them to play a step behind. We're talking about Arrowhead Stadium. If you've never been, you wouldn't understand. It's a place you have to experience to truly grasp what makes it so special. It's not just the fans, it's the vibe, the aura, the entire atmosphere. Arrowhead isn't just a building, it's a symbol of intimidation. Every time an opposing team rolls up to that stadium, you know what they're feeling. Pressure. The weight of expectation. They know they're not walking into just any old stadium. They're entering a place where history has been made and where winning isn't just expected, it's demanded. When the Chiefs take the field at Arrowhead, they're not just fighting for victory, they're fighting for respect. And that respect is earned through performance, through the energy of the fans, and through the way the place roars like a beast unleashed. And you think that's all? Not even close. Arrowhead gives the Chiefs one of the best home field advantages, if not the best, in the league year in and year out. Every player who's been through it can tell you, when you're the visiting team at Arrowhead, it's hard to hear yourself think, let alone execute a play. The noise, the chaos, the intensity of the crowd, it throws off your rhythm, messes with your focus, and makes you second-guess every move. For the Chiefs, it's nothing but a homecoming, a sense of comfort, and a distinct edge over every opponent that dares to step into their kingdom. But here's the thing, and listen closely, because this is the heart of the matter. As more and more NFL teams move into newer stadiums, some of those stadiums are, let's just say, not built with that same vibe in mind. You know what I'm talking about, right? These new stadiums, they're sleek, high-tech, shiny. They've got all the amenities, but none of the grit, none of the rawness, none of the soul that a place like Arrowhead has. The question is, as the NFL evolves and more teams move into these modern stadiums, will the league lose that element of home field advantage? Will the Chiefs lose what they've got? We're already seeing this shift. More and more stadiums are being built, but the trend is leaning indoors. And now, with every new venue, we have to ask ourselves, is the NFL trying to eliminate weather as a factor? Especially in December and the playoffs, where the cold and snow can cause real problems for teams not used to it. The winds of change are blowing through the league, forcing us to wonder how long this old-school approach to outdoor stadiums can last. Could the Chiefs lose their home field edge? Could the elements, the wind, the snow, the cold, be taken away from them? Because that's a huge part of what makes Arrowhead so special. It's about the environment. It's about the elements. And if the NFL shifts too far toward indoor stadiums, the entire home field advantage dynamic could change. And let's not forget about the players who call Arrowhead home. Players like Travis Kelsey, who might just have the most down-to-earth take on this whole situation. Kelsey's been around long enough to know what works and what doesn't. He's seen the changes, and he's not shy about sharing his thoughts. Recently, Kelsey sat down and gave his 2 cents on the future of NFL stadiums, and let me tell you, he didn't hold back. He was straight to the point, talking about the value of a downtown stadium, the feeling of being in the heart of a city, and how that's an important piece of the whole equation. Just do it downtown, Kelsey said. It just feels better when it's downtown. And honestly, he's got a point. Some of the best stadiums in the league are right in the middle of cities. They're part of the fabric of the community, surrounded by the buzz and the energy. It's about more than just the game, it's the experience. The fans feel close. They feel like they're part of something special. It's not just a building. It's a monument to the spirit of the town, the city, and the community. But here's the kicker. Kelsey also has a problem with all these new indoor stadiums popping up. If you've ever played in one, you know what he means when he says an indoor stadium kind of goes against the nature of playing up there on the lake. He's talking about Cleveland. And let's be real, playing in the cold, wind, and rain is part of the game. That's what makes football football. It separates the men from the boys. When you take the elements out of the equation, something feels missing. Football's supposed to be tough. It's supposed to be gritty. It's supposed to be about adapting to whatever comes your way. And if everything becomes indoor and controlled, you lose that element of surprise, that challenge. Kelsey's take doesn't stop there. He also weighed in on artificial turf. And if you know anything about Kelsey, you know he's all about playing on the real stuff. The man loves grass. And honestly, I'm right there with him. Turf has its place, sure, but when it comes to playing football at the highest level, there's nothing like the feel of real grass beneath your feet. It's authentic, it's organic, and it's what the game was made for. The turf stuff has to kick rocks, man, Kelsey said. And I couldn't agree more. Turf might be easier to maintain, but when you're out there making cuts, trying to make plays in the heat of the moment, nothing beats the real thing. You want that natural feel. You don't want to risk injury on some artificial surface. Now, we've all seen the league try to take steps in the right direction. The NFL has been working on making sure that indoor stadiums have better systems for the playing field. Look at places like Las Vegas and Arizona. They've got retractable roofs and fields that slide in and out of the stadium. That's definitely a step in the right direction. But at the end of the day, football is about the elements. It's about chaos. It's about adapting to whatever the weather throws at you. It's about the grind, that raw feeling that only a place like Arrowhead Stadium can deliver. You take that away, and you're taking away a huge part of what makes the game so great. The Chiefs have it good right now, but how long is that going to last if the NFL keeps heading down this path? Could the Chiefs lose the edge they've built over the years? Could they end up playing in a sterile indoor stadium that's just as comfortable for the visiting team as it is for the home team? It's something worth thinking about as the league evolves and the game continues to change. Now, let's take a deeper dive into what this all means, not just for the Chiefs, but for the entire NFL. Because we can't ignore the fact that Arrowhead Stadium gives the Chiefs a distinct, undeniable edge. And no, it's not just about the fans, though they play a massive role. It's the atmosphere, the environment. You step into that stadium and you're immediately hit with a wall of energy. The fans are as much a part of the team as the players. They're loud, they're passionate, and they're not just there to watch the game. They're there to make the other team feel every second of their discomfort. But let's talk about the players for a second. You think guys like Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelsey, and the rest of the crew don't feed off that energy? Of course they do. You think they don't feel it when the stadium shakes after a big play? You think they don't hear the roar after a fourth down stop? That kind of energy gives the Chiefs an edge, a true home field advantage. And when the game's on the line and the visiting team is struggling to communicate because it's just that loud, it's more than noise. It's psychological. The Chiefs aren't just playing against the other team. They're playing against the clock, the pressure, the weather, and the discomfort that Arrowhead brings with it. But what happens when we start removing those elements? What happens when more teams move into high-tech, climate-controlled indoor stadiums? where every factor is managed, where the crowd noise isn't the same, and the weather isn't even part of the equation. Now we're talking about a different game, a game where home field advantage doesn't mean as much, because every stadium starts to feel the same. The NFL is a league of matchups, and if those matchups start to feel too sterile, too neutral, you lose the unpredictable, chaotic energy that makes football so compelling. And the shift is already happening. More and more teams are building shiny, high-tech stadiums. Just look at the new setups in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Minnesota, and Indianapolis. Each one has its pros and cons, sure, but one thing they all have in common is control. You don't have to worry about a snowstorm in Green Bay or gusty winds in Buffalo. These new stadiums are designed for comfort for players, for fans, and for TV, but is that really what the sport needs? Because there's something to be said for a little bit of discomfort, a little unpredictability. That's what keeps the game authentic. That's what makes football, football. And speaking of the fans, don't think for 1 second they're not noticing this shift. Chiefs Kingdom isn't just about the team, it's about the community, the culture. These fans have been through thick and thin with the Chiefs. They bring an energy to Arrowhead that can't be replicated. But let's be real. What happens if the NFL starts pushing teams into indoor stadiums where everything is perfect and controlled? What happens when the Chiefs no longer play in a place where the wind howls and the snow falls? Sure, the fans will still bring the noise, but will it match the energy of Arrowhead? Will it have that same electric, bone-chilling edge? This is where Travis Kelsey's comments come into play. Kelsey isn't just worried about how a new stadium would affect the Chiefs, he's thinking about football itself. As much as the league wants to modernize and make things more efficient, Kelsey's take is spot on. The elements, the rain, the snow, the cold, they've been a part of football since day one. They separate the good teams from the great ones. Because when you're battling the weather and the opposing team, that's where character is built. That's where toughness is forged. That's where dynasties are made. Take away those elements, and you take away the grit that makes football what it is. And let's not forget about injuries, because that's a major factor too. Players like Kelsey are speaking out against artificial turf, which is becoming more common in indoor stadiums, and for good reason. We've seen it time and time again, players getting injured on bad turf. It's not just about comfort, it's about safety. Grass fields are the gold standard in the NFL. They offer better traction, a more forgiving surface, and the right feel for elite athletes to cut, move, and play at their best. Turf, it doesn't compare, and it can lead to serious injuries, the kind that end seasons or even careers. What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? The NFL draft is right around the corner, and while things might seem quiet on the surface, trust me, behind the scenes, Brett Veach and the front office are making some major decisions. Today, we're diving into exactly what the Chiefs need to fix before the 2025 season kicks off. Let's be real. Kansas City is coming off another strong season, but there are still some gaps that need to be filled. With the 31st pick in the draft, the Chiefs have a chance to add a serious playmaker to this roster. So the big question is, who should they target? Defense, offense? Maybe a trade up to grab top-tier talent? Before we dive in, I want your take. What side of the ball should the Chiefs focus on in the first round? Drop a D in the comments for defense. Drop an O for offense. And if you think Brett Veach is about to pull off another draft day masterclass, hit the comments with a C to lock it in. Over the next few minutes, we're breaking down expert mock drafts, top first-round targets, and even some late-round sleeper picks the Chiefs could snag. Let's get into it because there's a lot to cover and you don't want to miss a second. What are the experts saying? Every year, draft analysts release their mock drafts predicting who Kansas City might take, and this year, opinions are all over the board. Some say the Chiefs should reinforce an already elite defense, while others think it's time to give Patrick Mahomes more weapons or more protection. So let's break down some top names being linked to KC. The defensive prospects on the radar. 1. Nick Emenwowi, S. South Carolina. With Justin Reed gone in free agency, the Chiefs need help in the secondary. Imanwari is a ball hawk, 4 interceptions, 91 tackles, with elite speed and versatility. Analysts say he'd be a perfect fit in Steve Spagnuolo's defense. 2, James Pierce, edge, Tennessee. An absolute nightmare for quarterbacks. Pierce pressured the QB on 22.4% of pass rush snaps over the last 2 seasons. He's explosive, disruptive, and could pair beautifully with George Karlaftis. 3, Walter Nolan, DT Ole Miss. Imagine lining him up next to Chris Jones. Nolan's a powerful force in the middle, and adding him could make the Chiefs' defensive line nearly unstoppable. Offensive prospects to watch. 1, Josh Simmons, OT, My Ohio State. Some scouts believe he has the highest upside of any lineman in the draft. He's coming off an injury, but if the Chiefs want to protect Mahomes long-term, Simmons could be the gamble worth taking. 2, Matthew Golden, a smooth rooter, tough against press coverage, and a real deep threat. With Rashee Rice potentially missing time, Golden could fill that void. 3, Tyler Booker, G, Alabama. Already dominant in the trenches. If Kansas City wants to strengthen the interior O-line and own the line of scrimmage, Booker could be the move. Your turn. If the draft were today, who would you pick? Drop the name of your top choice in the comments below. Also, here's a quick poll. Would you rather the Chiefs stay at 31 and take the best available player, or trade up to guarantee a game changer? Drop a T for trade up. Drop a P for pick at 31. Should the Chiefs trade up? Let's talk strategy. Should Kansas City stay put at 31 or try to move up the board? The Chiefs have been aggressive in the past, trading up for Patrick Mahomes, Trent McDuffie, and Rashee Rice. So could Brett Veach pull off another draft day deal? The case for trading up. If the Chiefs want Josh Simmons, some reports suggest they may need to jump to around pick 24 to land him. Mahomes' protection is always a top priority, and Veach might believe Simmons is worth the leap. Another reason to trade up, elite pass rushers. Teams ahead of KC are eyeing top defensive linemen. If the Chiefs want someone like James Pierce, they may need to act quickly. But what would it cost? Moving up isn't cheap. According to trade value charts, jumping from pick 31 to the mid-20s could cost the Chiefs a 3rd-round pick or even a future second. That's a hefty price tag, but if the right player is there, it might be worth every bit. The case for staying put. Of course, there's always the option to hold steady and take the best available talent at 31. And, let's not forget, the Chiefs have nailed late first-round picks before. Just look at recent years. Value can still be found, even at the bottom of the round. And that's just the beginning. As the draft gets closer, we'll continue to break down updated mock drafts, trade rumors, and all things Chiefs. So hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay locked in with everything happening this offseason. We want you to be part of the conversation. Chiefs Kingdom, drop your thoughts in the comments. Who should the Chiefs draft? And should they trade up? Let's talk football. Let's talk strategy. And let's get ready to run it back in 2025.